Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Today is Pentecost. And in the story of Pentecost, we hear about fire, tongues of fire being over people's head. But today I have a different story for you, and it has to do with a little bit of fire and a little bit of anger and a little bit of people not following directions. It's a long story, but it comes from the Old Testament. And I can't wait to tell you this one. It's a great one. So there was this man by the name of Moses. And Moses, if you remember Moses, he was born as an Israelite in Egypt. Now, the Pharaoh was very worried that there were so many Israelites, so he made an order that all male Israelite babies under the age of 2 were supposed to be thrown into the Nile River to be eaten by the crocodiles. Isn't that terrible? That's so terrible. And so Moses is born, and his mom does not want that to happen to her baby, of course. So she hides him. She keeps him secret. Well, when he gets too big, she decides to put him in a basket that she's made, and she protected it with some special stuff, and she stuck Moses inside the basket and sent him down the river, had big sister follow along beside, and Moses is saved. When he grows up, he goes to live in the palace as Pharaoh's daughter's son. Even though he's not, he becomes an Egyptian adopted. Well, Moses grows up. Moses knows he's not Egyptian. He knows he's an Israelite. He knows it. And one day he sees an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave, beating him. And Moses gets mad, tries to stop it, but the Egyptian won't stop. So instead, Moses kills the Egyptian. He gets scared and he runs away. Now he goes out and he lives in the desert for many years. And while he's living out there, one day he's tending sheep, and he goes out to tend his sheep. And while he's there, he sees this bush on fire. And he thought, well, that's kind of strange, because he looks at the bush and he notices that the bush isn't burning up. Like it's on fire, but it's not being consumed by the fire. And he thought, this is so strange, this is so weird. So he went over to check it out, and all of a sudden a voice from heaven said, don't go any closer. Take off your shoes, for this ground is holy ground. Immediately, Moses takes off his shoes, and he kneels down on the ground, and God talks to him through the burning bush and tells him that his people, the Israelites, are enslaved, and they've been crying out to him, and he's heard their cry, and he's telling Moses to get up and go to Egypt and help them. Moses is like, but I don't know. I'm not very good at this kind of thing. I don't talk really well. And God says, it's all right. I got it covered. I'm going to give you your brother. Your brother's going to help you. Your brother will help you. Don't worry about it. And Moses says, but they won't know who you are. How do I tell them who you are? And God says, that's okay. I got it covered. Just say, I am sent you. So Moses takes off. He heads to Egypt. And he goes and he talks to the Pharaoh. And he tells the Pharaoh, let my people go. Now, what do you think? Do you think he goes, oh, okay, sure, I'll just let all these hundreds of thousands of people go. Not a problem. They're my slaves, but, you need them more. No, he doesn't. He says, no, you can't have them. They're mine. And so Moses says to Pharaoh, God's gonna do some stuff to you. And so some plagues happened. There were 10 plagues that happened. So I'm going to tell you what they were. The first one was the plague of blood. So the Nile River where they had all their water came from the Nile River, turned to blood. All of the Egyptians were affected by it, but not the Israelites. The Israelites were given clean water. Crazy! The next one was the plague of frogs. So Pharaoh asked Moses, can you stop the blood? Can you just stop it? Okay, sure. Not a problem. Blood goes away. Okay, will you let my people go? Nope. Okay, frogs. Plagues of frogs. Frogs everywhere. Frogs in your food. Frogs in your bed. Frogs everywhere. Pharaoh's getting kind of crazy with all the frogs, so he says, can you stop the frogs? Tell God. Tell God to stop the frogs. I'll let you go. Okay. Let the frogs go away. Will you let my people go? Nope. Next plague. Gnats. Those are those little tiny bugs, and they buzz around your ears and you're swatting at them. Millions of them. They don't bother the Israelites, only the Egyptians. Same thing. I'll let the people go if you stop this. Okay. Gnats, go away. Will you let my people go? No, not today, maybe tomorrow. Next one, flies. Flies everywhere. Flies coming out of anything and everything. Flies by the billions. Nothing happens. Okay, fine. The death of all the animals. All the Egyptian animals die. Still nothing. Boils. Those are great big sores that get all over your body and they burn and they itch. Still nothing. Hail. Great big hailstones come down and destroy all the crops. Nope. Then came locusts. You know what locusts are? Those cicadas, those great big bugs. And they're nasty. Yeah. Cicadas. Locusts. Plague of locusts. Still wouldn't let them go. So then came the plague of darkness. Darkness. Everything. No sun. No sun at all. Oh, that's okay. You know what? If you don't have any light for days on end, you go crazy. Plague of darkness. So finally Pharaoh's like, okay, I'll let him go. But guess what? He doesn't. So then the 10th plague comes and Moses tells Pharaoh, you thought those were bad. You thought those plagues were bad. This one's the worst. Moses goes to the Israelites and he tells all the Israelites, I need you to get ready because tomorrow Pharaoh will let you go. Here's what you're going to do. You need to go kill a lamb. Cook its meat. Take the blood of the lamb and spread it over your doorposts. Take some bread and make the bread, but don't put any yeast in it because it won't have time to rise. And get ready, because tomorrow morning he's going to let you go. But stay in your homes, put the blood over your doors, stay inside. And that night, the angel of death came and swooped into Egypt. And over the Israelite houses, it swooped and it stopped and it kept on moving. And then it came to the Egyptian houses and didn't see the blood and went into the to the Egyptian houses and killed the firstborn of every Egyptian. The firstborn animal, the firstborn child. Pharaoh's son died. He woke up the next morning to find his son dead. So he calls Moses forward and he says, get these people out of here. Take them and leave. So Moses went to the Israelites and said, I told you, get your stuff, let's go. So they started out on their journey and everything was just fine until they came to the Red Sea. They came to the Red Sea and the people were following Moses. And they came to the Red Sea and they were trying to figure out how they were going to get across the sea. And they turned around and they looked back and they saw the Egyptians following them because Pharaoh got mad, changed his mind and decided, nope, I'm not going to let him go. Go get him and bring him back here. So he sent his army and himself after the Israelites, chasing them down with their chariots and their horses. The Israelites turned around and saw them coming, and they got scared. And they looked to Moses and said, "Why did you bring us out here to die? We're going to die a horrible death from them. We should have just stayed there and been slaves. At least we had food. At least we had water. At least we had something, and now we're going to die." And Moses took his staff, and he held it up, and he put it down. And he asked God to help. And immediately the Red Sea parted. And all the people went across the water on dry ground. And when all the Israelites were over, the Egyptians came across. And guess what happened? The Egyptians were coming across, and the water came in and covered them all. Moses continued to lead the Israelites on a journey for 40 years. That's a long time. All because they cried out to God for help. And all because God heard their cry. He saved them. Now, maybe it wasn't the way it should have happened in your book. Maybe it was not as fast as maybe it should have happened in your book. But it's a great story, and it shows us the grace of God, the might of God, and the love of God. You guys have a great day, and think about this story. Go and read this story in the book, the Bible. It's a great one. You'll love it. Bye all.